Trap. No, this is not a prestige TV prequel to Admiral Akbar's life. It's the new M. Night Shyamalan movie, so the question is this good M. Night or bad M. Night? Because typically, there is no in-between. Let's discuss.
I watch so you don't have to.
Before I get started, I'd like to kindly ask that you hit the like button, and please subscribe to the channel for more content just like this.
What are you waiting for, huh? What are you waiting for?
Trap follows a man and his teenage daughter who realize they're at the center of a dark and sinister event while watching a concert. I think I said the same thing for my old review, as well as my Knock at the Cabin review, but I'll say it again here because it's relevant. M. Night Shyamalan is easily one of the most frustrating directors currently working in Hollywood.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
And that's mostly because we know that the potential is there. We've already seen him achieve greatness. Granted, a lot of it happened early in his career, but the harsh truth is, outside of Split, I don't feel like he's ever been able to live up to that early career success. He is a high-concept filmmaker, and I give him credit for that. But oftentimes, the premise is a lot more intriguing than the final product ends up being. It's almost as if he has great ideas that would make great short stories, but he's never quite able to fully realize those ideas in a satisfying way when it comes to turning them into full-blown cinematic experiences. And sadly, Trap does fall victim to some of those same issues that a lot of his later films have.
Why do these things always happen to me?
Now, one could say that they revealed way too much about this movie in the trailer. And I would understand that argument, honestly. I do believe that M. Night Shyamalan kind of writes himself into a corner sometimes with some of the concepts that he comes up with. You don't want to be known as the twist guy, because that's kind of gimmicky, and that shtick runs its course after a while. And you constantly feel like you have to outdo yourself with each subsequent story. So in a way, I do understand him avoiding all of that and revealing the twist in the trailer. He's trying to make this movie about more than just the shock value. He's trying to inspire tension and intrigue by building on those things more naturally, hopefully by using more conventional storytelling methods. This movie is not about who the killer is, it's about how the killer is going to get out of this situation. And initially, early on in the film, I did buy into that mystery.
Son of a bitch, I'm in!
They very much set the stage where it feels like this person is in a situation that there is no way out of. The problems arise when they have to keep coming up with new ways for the killer to get the upper hand and to evade the authorities. And it would take a considerable amount of suspending your disbelief to buy into everything that's happening. The police, for instance, would have to be mind-numbingly stupid and very bad at their job for a lot of what's going on to work out. Now, dumb police is not anything new in movies, either is plot conveniences. But this movie does have a lot of both, to the point that it felt like M. Night was trying very hard to get where he needs to go. I get it. The killer is supposed to be intelligent, charming. There's even lines of dialogue about how this person is very good at lying.
You sit on a throne of lies.
They do things from a serial killer profiling perspective to try to explain everything. But the way that everything plays out, I could not buy into this person evading capture in the way that they do, or for as long as they do. Even when you think the movie is over a handful of times, they kind of do the false finish thing. It got to the point where I was kind of losing interest because they went to that well one too many times. The movie is essentially a tale of two halves. The first half being all the concert stuff. And the second half is what happens when everything breaks down and they have to try to start explaining things. And I much preferred the more straightforward first half than I did the more convoluted second half. A good portion of the second half of the film is dedicated to explaining how this person is able to live a double life. Something that we've seen done before and frankly done much better.
Not impressed.
The whole idea of an unassuming killer being able to blend in with society is supposed to make them that much more scary. But unfortunately, it feels kind of been there, done that when it comes to Trap. As far as Josh Hartnett goes, it's nice to see him back in movies again after disappearing from Hollywood for a while. I used to dismiss him as this teen heartthrob type that really doesn't have much to offer, but I've come to appreciate him a little bit more over time. He does have this natural, charming likability factor to him that does play in nicely to the character he is playing. It's definitely a different type of role for him than we've become accustomed to seeing him play. And I do appreciate when actors challenge themselves a little bit later in their careers, even when they don't have to. I do just wish that he had a little bit better material to work with.
We were on the verge of greatness. We were this close.
I do always find M. Night's dialogue to be a little bit rough around the edges and even clunky at times. And that is very much happening again here with Trap. It goes back again to his tendency to mess up the execution of certain details. Details that, if handled differently, could push this movie into being something a bit more memorable. And to me, M. Night shines when he is paying closer attention to those details. That's why films like The Sixth Sense and Unbreakable work so well. And that's also why a lot of his later films don't have the same impact on people. Bottom line, I feel like Trap had the potential to be this Hitchcockian retelling of a somewhat classic story told from a different perspective that would have been carried by the paranoia that it should inspire.
That makes sense.
Instead, large portions of Trap felt somewhat lifeless and like they were playing it too safe. It's almost as if M. Night didn't commit fully to selling us on this concept, or he is once again trying to stretch out ideas that really don't call for being fleshed out further. Parts of this movie worked for me, but a lot of it did not. And once again, that is a little bit frustrating when you consider that M. Night Shyamalan is very much trying to do something unique here. He is just very rarely able to stick the landing when it comes to executing some of his lofty ideas.
Why are you the way that you are?
At the end of the day, I felt next to nothing while watching Trap. It felt like a streaming movie that somehow snuck its way into theaters, and that's why I'm going to give it the Careless Sam Gerard.
I don't care! Y'all be cool. Right on.